blinded by your headlights. Tunnel vision, losing feeling here in paradise. I don't know if I can take it, can we slow it down? And telling me to steal a key and love is sweet. Got me feeling like I'm sitting in your backseat. I don't know, but I'm fine being here for now. I know we'll be fine if you stay here in my mind. Yeah. Talk me out of this crisis. Talk me out of this crisis. I'm down in your sights again. Don't know if I want this to end. Talk me out of this crisis. Talk me out of this crisis. I found myself in side eye burning at me like a sun ray. Funny how it's only now that you're not throwing shade. I don't know if I can take it, but I'm here for now. I know we'll be fine if you stay here in my mind. Yeah. Talk me out of this crisis. Talk me out of this crisis. I'm down in your sights again. Don't know if I want this to end. Talk me out of this crisis. Talk me out of this crisis. I found myself there. Please slow down. I feel like a ghost right now, wondering if you'll ever come around. Please slow down. I feel like a ghost right now, losing sense of all my sight and sound. Stay here in my mind. Talk me out of this crisis. Talk me out of this crisis. I'm down in your sights again. Don't know if I want this to end. Talk me out of this crisis. Talk me out of this crisis. I found myself in.
Honey, I could dance you. Honey, I could dance you. Honey, I could dance you. You send me roses, beautiful, but really dying. You say I love you, but I just can't verify it. You take me out to this fancy place and leave the check and ask me to pay. How dare you, babe? Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I do it better than that bitch. Honey, I need more than you give. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I do it better than that bitch. Honey, I need more than you give. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I do it better than that bitch. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I do it better than that bitch. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I do it better than that bitch. Honey, I need more than you give. Honey, I can grant your every wish. Honey, I do it better than that bitch. Honey, I can grant your every wish. I can hear in the silence. She whispers to me, in a world without violence, you can see what I see, hear what I hear, feel how I feel, see what I see. But you can know what I know, move how I move, see what I see, 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 see what I see. In a world unkind, with left behind, holding hands, mixed up blood in a bond divine. Sworn to be losers for life, but this time we won't hide. We stand on the line. And the whispers and against all odds now we'll face our own path through the darkness through. Facing the mirror of reality, we turn lightness into bright flakes of gold. We're roses blood.
children of the shadows, bound together by space. Heavy hearts burn wings of fire, but a smile lights up our face. The weight is heavy on our shoulders, yet we still won't last. Skin deep cuts and words that sing, bring us down and make a world cave in. We're the children of forever, held together by our dreams. Chasing group votes, better paper, word on shoes and torn on cheese. Building cities of tomorrow, on scars of yesterday. And imagination feeds our minds, bleeding color in these black deadlights. Against the whispers and against all odds now. We'll raise our own through this darkness room. Facing the mirror of reality, we turn nightmares into bright flakes of gold. We're the losers. Children of the shadows, come together by nations, the whispers and against the walls. Heavy hearts burn wings of fire, but as firelights apart, facing the mirror of reality. We'll break the cycle, dive into the grave. For every loss gives well said sound.
Woo! Oh man! All right, so I don't know about you, but I'm pretty ready for this. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
I see the chat starting to fill up. The Long Family Cosplay. Good day, good morrow, sir. Tater in the chat. We're gonna talk about Tater here in a minute. I've got things to say about Tater. I just saw something amazing. New cosplay that for his first cosplay, and it's great. Say Wong talking about we're doing it wrong by prepping 2 weeks in advance for the con that we're going to. Dude, we do a lot of work at these cons, man. We're not just doing a booth. I've got to prep for interviews and all that kind of stuff. It is long. Anyways, let's get ready to start this show because I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Distance nerding.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday. It's the therapeutic day. Therapy day. It's Lego therapy day. Not my mental therapy day. That's another day. Graveyard in the building with me here. Well, not in the building, but in the square.
I'm actually in his closet right now, hiding. He just doesn't know it yet.
Oh, it's the beard. Oh, are you pulling a James?
Mm-hmm. Except I'm on the show.
Is that, shade. That one's got to hurt a lot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday. It's time for the build. We are getting ready to start a new one. I got to finish the platform for the Batmobile, but we're going to start Luke's Landspeeder today.
Ooh.
It's going to be another big kit, it's another massive kit. But we also are doing an interview today like we do on all these. But before we bring the guest on and have all the fun that we do with all this stuff, we got to talk sponsors. We got to talk about what keeps the lights on around here. And that sponsor right off the bat right here, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by Dubby. Work if I had the volume up. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubby is a brand of energy drinks created to help focus concentration reaction time with no jitters or crash. Dubby contains no maltodextrin, Dubby contains no maltodextrin, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors or dyes. It's obvious I'm not drinking any right now because I can't even get my lines straight. So
you take 1 week off from the build.
I know. And you know what? When I take a week off of the build, it destroys me. But anyways, with that being said, Dubby contains no maltodextrin. I already said all that. Remember, I'm doing this off of the top of my head. I have a script. I just don't read it. Dubby contains Neurofactor. Neurofactor is a neurotropic derived from the coffee fruit. Neurofactor gives your oh no. Sorry, our guest just sent me a message and said that his computer just froze. Hopefully we get him back here in a moment.
Yes, it does keep you hydrated.
It does keep you hydrated. What was I at? Dubby contains Neurofactor. Neurofactor is a neurotropic derived from the coffee fruit. Dubby, should I just skip?
Buy Dubby?
Buy Dubby. Do it now. Buy it. I just dropped the ball on all this. 150 milligrams of caffeine and 3 essential B vitamins. Boom. Find out more about Dubby at www.dubby.gg. Be like the DeLongs. Use the code nerding10, get 10% off your order. Or like Tater also buys a lot of the Dubby and puts it in his
depositories.
In his depositories, yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, why not? He can mainstream it, right?
Yeah. Now, while you can mainline it, now while we're waiting for our guest to get back, because again his computer just froze. I'm not gonna exactly say who he is dressed as, but just to let everybody know, Tater's first cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Just came by the house right now wearing it, and it looks amazing. Shout outs to the DeLongs, because the DeLongs went and created that for him from whole cloth, literally.
I can only accept Tater dressed as one character in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Powdered Toast Man.
I wish it was powdered. Man, that'd be amazing. Powdered Toast Man. But I put it in the chat, in our private chat, so then you can see who it is. But it is great, and he looks exactly like the one from the comic. So
really
looks great, man. He looks exactly like he does in the comics. Aside from that, Tater has a beard, but I mean, you can make that work.
I mean, yeah.
DeLong's
making that one.
DeLong made it. He wore it, and he made the pouches from scratch. So he has Liefeld pouches.
Does he have the physique for Powdered Toast Man?
He has the physique for Powdered Toast. Anybody can have the physique for Powdered Toast Man,
except the nipples that go into your eyes and show you the truth.
The nipples of truth. All right. Well, without continuing on this and getting into, I mean, we're already in weird territory.
That's what my sick brain does.
I know. And there's no problem with that at all. I'm just trying to get the guest on here before I waste any more of his time. I don't want to waste our guest time. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's guest is a writer, illustrator, storyboard artist, and just an overall designer, here to talk about his latest Indiegogo campaign and a very unique book. You read it, right?
Most of it, like I said, I've been sick the past 2 days and still currently sick. So I've been sleeping for 2 days.
Gotcha. I read a good amount of it just because I was trying to read it in between jobs today. And the amount that I read, again, I would say it's very unique, but it's very entertaining, and in a good way. There's like, we're gonna get into it because I wrote a bunch of stuff about that. So please welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Yu.
So it's a perfect introduction because I have this guy doing the lawn, ripping the lawnmower outside. So I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's annoying.
No, we
Okay.
Nope.
can't really hear it, man. So you're good there.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. How's it going, guys?
We're doing great, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm like super grateful. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. And again, just after kind of going through the press kit and reading what I could of the book, just because work, kind of does that to you. But I mean, like reading what I could, it's, dude, man, I'm giving you the praise right now, and we're gonna get the audience here to know why I'm giving it so much praise. It is a great book, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
At least the first volume is what I.
Yes.
You know, I was writing it and I was thinking, I just started laughing hysterically. I'm like, this is so weird. This is weird to me. But it's getting positive. Like, you know, I sold it at or the first print run I sold at conventions, and I had like good vibes from people about it. So, okay, people like it. So let's keep moving.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So let's before we jump into kind of the man, the myth, the legend, the man behind the book and talking about the book, let's get some intro questions in here. It's kind of like learn about you a little bit and how your mind works, right?
Oh, all right.
So first question I got for you here: if a movie was made based on your life, who would play you and why?
Geez, man. Can we time travel back to the 90s? Is that possible?
Anytime you want, man. We can do this.
I would say Chow Yun Fat.
Ooh, okay. So Chow Yun Fat back in the day, though.
Back in the days, yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
perfect. Just shave his head, grow like a mustache, like a little 5 o'clock shadow, and yeah, I think he would do a more charismatic version of me. Um, and he would just be super cool. To seeing him on screen playing me would be like really, really like a big honor. So yeah,
It's funny you say Chow Yun Fat because I made a joke on my name based on a Chow Yun Fat movie. Look at that right there, soft boiled.
nice, nice.
I was like, I'm not hard boiled, so
I like that.
Awesome. We also have a segment called Growing Up Geeky. What did you geek out on when you were a kid, and what do you currently still geek out on?
When I was a kid, I geeked out a lot on it was a lot of martial arts movies, to be honest. And I still geek out about martial arts to this day. It's a big part of my life. So yeah, that's
nice.
all. I can't like if you ask me something about like a certain move or a certain art form, you're opening up the floodgates. It's dangerous.
Oh God, that's no. So we're about to open up the floodgates because Graveyard's looking at my interview script right now, and he can see what my first question is.
Yep. Okay.
It is, why is Jet Li's the One the best movie ever made?
You know. Okay, you ready for me to geek out about that?
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly think there is a divide between American audience. I mean, it's apparent. American audience and the Asian audience.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Holy moly, he's really ripping it up out there. If you guys can't hear it, that's cool.
No, we can't hear it.
Okay. He's like right next to me. Actually, he's right here in the room right now. No, but I think the one, because what was it, Kiss the Dragon came out?
Yeah.
And I don't know where War falls into that, the one with him and Statham, but I just felt like Jet Li's first debut, everyone knows Bruce Lee and they want the next Asian action star to be Bruce Lee.
Right.
And Jet Li is not that. Jet Li is Mr. Wushu. He can fly in the air. He can throw a whole bunch of, like jumping kicks, whatever. And I felt like the one was him trying to insert his Wushu philosophies. As much as he can, whenever he can, he'll try to put that in his films. I felt like the one was him kind of toying with that before he ended it with Fearless. Well, you open up the floodgates, so there we go.
That was the fake first question.
Yeah, because the first question I actually have written for you here is, so you're a martial artist.
Yeah.
In all reality, what disciplines do you practice?
I mean, I went from Kung Fu. I was practicing Eagle Claw at a very early age. And then I jumped in Wushu for a little bit, but I'm like tall. And tall people we're not built for that. So then I got into boxing and then finally got into kickboxing, competed. And then now I just like the last time I competed was like 2018, 2019. And then ever since that, I've just been like kind of just doing my own thing with the training routine. It's just so hard. Just like the last fight, I was just like, do I really want to do this? People tell me, what is it like? I was like, I don't know. You walk in there, there's like half of the room is cheering you on, other half of the room wants you murdered. And then when you get into the ring, the other guy across from you, once the bell rings, all he wants to do is cave your head in. I mean, dude, talk about high stress. So
you're just bringing back memories for me, man. So I mean, just
that was yesterday.
It's just Phil just getting beat up constantly.
Yeah,
I was a very sickly kid. I got beat up a lot, so that's a lie.
Okay. I was like, do I laugh at that, or where are we going with this?
No. I actually I used to practice Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Western boxing, stuff like that. So like,
cool.
I know exactly what you mean when you say walking into a room and half the room wants to cave your head in, and the other half of the room is like cheering you on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they told me. I remember the last fight. They told me. One of my sparring partners, he told me, when you get up into the because you kind of have to do a little flexing, like when you get into the arena, and then when you appear, you get on this little platform right before you go into the ring, and then smoke blows out, and you're supposed to do you're supposed to get in your like war stance, and they say don't look at the audience when you do that. Well, what did I do? I looked at the audience, and it got in my head. And I remember for the first it was like a round and a half. So all the way to the first half of the second round, I was basically losing because I was still thinking about the audience, and I could hear them like "boo, fucking kill him," and it was like the second round, the second half of the second round started to pick up, and I was like finally in my zone. But man, the shift that your brain has to go into, it was literally like I went, oh no, and then I remember in between round 2, round 3, my coach hits just slaps me in the face. Cassie's her name. Cassie's awesome. Cassie was like, you go in there and expletives, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm on. Like my brain just went bing, and I was just like, just in kill mode. But it was funny because after that fight, this was in LA. After that fight, that night I slept over a friend's house in like sunny suburban Burbank, and I remember waking up and there was this old lady walking her dog, and I'm like, this is totally the opposite of what I just experienced.
As long as the old lady didn't try to fight you, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man. So
I mean, if
it's LA. I mean,
I didn't think it happened in LA.
were he in Chinatown, San Francisco, she might actually, have wanted to fight him.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe there's some like Tai Chi like cabal of like senior citizens that just wanted to like fight people all the time. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing.
I'm sure it is somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll never find out.
It's a reference to the to the scene in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Oh yeah.
When he goes to when he goes to when he gets called out and everything, and basically everybody wants to fight him.
Yeah, I can't believe, by the way, that movie got made. I'm blown away. I want to know the history, because they said we want this movie about Bruce Lee where he does his he punches a block of ice and like just makes it explode. He fights like a gang of chefs in like the back of an alley,
Yeah.
and then oh, but by the way, he fights a demon samurai, which is very accurate to Chinese, culture.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, where is this movie going?
Yeah.
What in the world is happening?
They were like, what we need to do? We need to play into that fear in. It wasn't Enter the Dragon. Which one was the one where they were fighting the Japanese?
Chinese Connection.
Chinese Connection. They're like, we need to play into the fears that is going on in Chinese Connection, but at the same time, obviously not. Like we don't understand like how demons work in Asian culture, so we're just
yeah. So we'll put the samurai in there, and then let's put ninjas in there, and then let's make the chefs like sushi chefs too. It's like okay, well then let's just do everything.
So you're saying my childhood in Big Trouble in Little China and Mortal Kombat isn't accurate?
Okay. Yeah. Sadly, Big Trouble Little China is more accurate than Dragon the Bruce Lee story.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this too, is that like I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, so I'll try to like ease into my thought process here. But I was thinking about how me and another art friend, Philip Jeans, awesome artist, I love him, but him and I talk about Asian culture stuff a lot, and he was talking about Asian representation, and I thought the only place where that almost doesn't matter is Mortal Kombat, because Liu Kang is supposed to be a Chinese martial artist. But they didn't even get that right because it was played by a Korean martial arts actor.
Right, Robin Chu, who also played Bruce Lee.
Well, what's his name? Ho Sun Park was the original Liu Kang from the video games.
Right.
Yeah. So that I was like, okay, well they're not even getting that right. So
and it's like more power to Robin Chu. The dude, he could fight, but I mean at the same time, it's like, yeah, like.
I'd be more like Chris Farley in Beverly Hills.
He was awesome. Dude, I watched recently him coming out on David Letterman, and he was doing cartwheels, endless cartwheels. And I'm like, oh man, this guy can move.
Yeah.
I want to see him in more martial arts movies. It would have been awesome.
Yeah, man. And like I said, I mean, like Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat movie, I'm not even Asian and I'm offended by that movie. It's like, okay, so you got the Highlander to play Chinese god. Like why is the Chinese god a white guy?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was weird. It is what it is.
Yeah. And that's kind of like where it's like I think they've been trying to fix that in every Mortal Kombat game since.
Yeah.
It's like clearly we're trying to show you guys that he's Chinese and he's not supposed to be a white guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good I just saw someone say no love for Iron Monkey. Iron Monkey's awesome. I love Iron Monkey.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I watched a martial arts movie, unfortunately for me. But I want to know with your background in martial arts, so how did you go from that and being worried about the old lady walking her dog to storyboarding and making comics?
I mean, I actually grew up drawing. That's really what I love doing. Mm-hmm. And I was actually thinking about this a lot because I remember someone had asked me when I was in LA doing storyboarding. I don't do storyboarding anymore, but when I was, someone asked me, why do that when you can be doing stunts in film, whatever. And the most succinct way to put it is I thought about, that phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Mm. That is what I love doing. I think film is great, but it's like you're taking everything and then you're just, I don't know. It feels like a huge collaborative process, and there's so many steps. There's so many milestones that you have to hit just to make what you want to make. Whereas with comics, you could literally have all these items. Like you can, you have your coloring tools. You have graphic design that you could utilize. It was just like all that could be put together to really tell the stories I wanted to tell. And then as to why I didn't really go into any kind of career thing with martial arts, I mean, every now and then I might like train people. I might, if someone really wants to just for fitness sake, but martial arts, man, it's just it's a hard road. It's especially if you're competing. I mean, I think Lomachenko said it recently at 38, 36 now. I can't remember. He's in his late 30s, and he said every fight takes him a while to recover. Um, I I almost wish we had like the Wolverine healing factor. That would be like really awesome, you know. But it's like literally, I remember after my last fight, like I shattered something in my wrist, and this is the moneymaker, right? So like I can't do that. And I have constant problems with my ankles now, with my right ankle. And I mean, it's just like your body just takes so much abuse over time because you're not just hitting something, something's hitting back at you.
Right.
And then not to mention like the workouts are insane. Like there's stuff where you're like taking a kettlebell, like a 35 pound, and you're like, doing these like pulls, these like you're like whipping a cord, and then you do like 10, and then you're supposed to like drop that, go sprint, come back, do it again, and it's just you're doing that for like that's like 40 minutes right there.
Yeah, you are constantly wrecking your body.
Yeah, constantly. There's a strength and fitness coach that interviewed some Muay Thai fighters, had him do just some very basic routine. I mean, we're talking about guys who could go on for like 4 hours. They could spar for 4 hours. They're like in their like 40s now, and they can just keep doing that. But he had them do really simple things, and they just couldn't do it because their body is so broken down. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that. That's really crazy.
Yeah. Right. I haven't been practicing for almost 10 years now, man.
Yeah, I feel like in some ways that's like a lot better because you don't have all the muscular and like a lot of these UFC fighters or MMA fighters are like you wouldn't know this because they look like they're in like peak physical shape, but a lot of them talk about all these problems they have. Like Dustin Poirier was talking about how he had the cartilage in his hip bone was like, or his that whatever that big thigh bone is grained out. So it's just like the bone is just constantly rubbing on the socket. And and he was like, I go to the mall with my family, and I couldn't even stand. I couldn't even stand up for like 5 minutes. I had to keep sitting down because it hurt so bad. So that's the stuff that we don't hear about. So
I like I said, the only thing I ever did growing up was Taekwondo, and then I went from that to backyard wrestling.
Awesome. Can you do all those like cool like flips and all that stuff?
I used to be able to.
Okay.
Used to be able to. Now that we're all old men, our bodies are rebelling against us from all the stupid shit that we did growing up.
So yeah, I'm actually interested in it. Did you watch Iron Claw?
Not yet.
Okay, but there's like workouts that they do like the front suicide falls, right? And it's like I understand that there's ways to protect yourself, but that canvas isn't that soft, right?
It's very springy.
Okay.
There's a lot of give. We didn't have that. We just used the ground.
Like it's still plywood, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still very springy. Like I said, we just used until we built our own ring. We just used the ground, which was a much harder.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's the thing about backyard wrestling.
Few concussions. And that's the thing. Like I think that with the Taekwondo I did is that you learn how to fall properly, right? You learn how to even distribute, and I think that even that taking a couple of years of that, maybe 5 or 6 years as a teenager, even to this day, that discipline's still in my head. That if I slip on ice, I know how to fall. You don't even know I have fallen at this point in time when it happens, just because you don't put your arms out, you don't try to stop yourself because that's how you break your wrists.
Right?
It's the
Yeah.
same thing where like if I fall from like a really high height, I was in the army, so if I fall from like somewhere that was like really high, then my automatic reaction is to do a PLF, parachute landing fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that stuff is like so important.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really it's great because it helps your body respond to certain situations, and I love that about the martial arts.
Yeah, and I think that's just fantastic, just because it's a way to, even if nothing else, teach you how to fall properly, how to really listen to your body. I think too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, and I would love my kids to be able to do something like that too. But it's a lot less now than it was in the '90s when I was growing up. Unfortunately, where I'm at.
You mean in terms of like wrestling, like doing the
Wrestling or any some form of martial arts, just to
Oh, okay.
teach them how to
Yeah,
take a hit, how to stand, how to do stuff like that. I think everyone should have to do it one way or the other, just because
Yeah.
it's good discipline.
yeah, yeah. I always tell people it's like if you want to get into martial arts, at least get in the ring once. It's it is so scary to be in there, but it does help you learn how to respond to stress. It teaches you a lot of amazing things that I just couldn't find anywhere else. So um, it's just such an invaluable experience in life.
Hello!
Oh, Jen's here, and her mic is messed up.
Yes, it is.
Do I sound like a demon?
You do sound like a demon.
Okay.
Transformer.
Okay, be back.
All right. So
Jen sounded like Starscream.
she did.
You did sound like Starscream.
Oh man, we have to watch out for Megatron now.
Megatron.
So okay, let's get back into the comics and what you're doing. So were comics always a dream? You talked about going from storyboarding and that the picture's worth 1,000 words. So how did you get into that path then for you?
So and this is going to connect to why I worked on Joan, but like every artist, I feel like at some point you go like when you start off, you're thinking to yourself, okay, like this is something I want to be good at, and then maybe you go to art school, maybe like whatever it is, you're in your 20s, you're thinking, okay, there's a career here, there's something to be found. And at that time, I asked a lot of people. It's like, okay, I do that whole thing where I workshop my portfolio. I ask people, okay, like, where should I go? And there are people going like, okay, you could work on this, you can work on that. And mostly the general consensus was storyboarding would be perfect because you love storytelling, you love, drawing, and I sketch fast. So it just seemed like, okay, that's the direction to go. The thing is that so I worked. I was living in Oakland at the time. This is like around like anywhere from like 2009 to like 2016. So I was still working on storyboards, and then 2016 I go to LA, and I get my first experience, and it was a grind though. I'll be honest. It was like really really tough, and I remember someone telling me that if you do enough live action storyboards, eventually you'll get to work in film. And I honestly, guys, I could tell you this: I didn't have a feeling. There wasn't a feeling. It wasn't like, oh my god, I got to pursue this. It just felt like, oh, okay. And then that's when it was like, are you sure you want to do this? Is this like what you really care about, or is this something that someone was telling you you'd be perfect for? And 2018 comes, and my dad passes, and I was like, okay, this is like miserable. I really I didn't like this at all. And 2020 hits, and of course we have beloved COVID, and which I was working at a design company that shut down, or I was doing designs for a company and that shut down, and I was just like, okay, I think I have to quit all this and figure out really what I want to do. And ever since then, I mean, it hasn't been like a smooth journey. It's been a lot of, there's been a lot of rough bumps. But I will say this: when I sit down and open up a Word document and I start writing, and I don't know what it is, but there is something there. And to have, here's like the first like print edition of Joan. So to have this in my hand was like, wow, this is like this is more me. This is like where I belong. So if anything, it's all about it's all about just belonging. You know, finding out where your home is.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like finding your tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Following your bliss. Am I still a demon?
No.
Yes, but
I mean,
not in voice.
Okay, I was gonna say, do I still sound like a demon?
No.
Not vocal.
I mean, yes, we all know I'm a demon, but I still
Oh,
sound
because you're an immortal. You are Joan.
yeah, that's true.
Awesome.
But
Nice
no,
tie-in.
but no, I mean, I think that's really great to hear. You know, as people that know me from the show, is last year I started pursuing something outside of the YouTube world, and it's great to hear people having the same and giving the same advice, talk about the same thing, and the passion that is there, that you're able to get to this path, and having that tangible thing in your hand is amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I just I was on another podcast, and I always pronounce his last name wrong. Josh Pantaloresco. Josh, if I screw that name up, I'm so sorry. But he was telling me it was funny. I felt like I was with a therapist. He was so good at it, but he was able to like get to what I was trying to do with Joan. And he's like, basically, you're a fighter. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, okay, so when you get in the ring, there's no one else doing it for you. I go, right. And he's like, so you want to figure it out. That's why you went and did it. That's why you got in the ring, because you wanted to figure out some stuff about yourself. I go, yeah. He's like, okay, so it's not that you don't want to do storyboards. It's not that you don't want to work for other people. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that you want to figure out your own voice. You really want to figure out how you want to tell stories, how you want to draw. You want to tell something that's true to yourself. I go, yeah, that's all it is. At the end of the day, it's just I want to be honest. I want to be authentic. If I'm not being authentic, I don't know. I just feel like, what's the point?
Right.
So that's why.
Yeah.
That's really deep. I appreciate it.
Thanks. All right, bye guys. I'll see you later.
At the end of the show.
That's it. We're done.
I have said all I need to say.
We have found the meaning of life.
And it's 42. I mean,
Yep. 42. That's the number.
Again, another reference. Hopefully everybody understands.
That's a great reference.
Well, if you don't know that reference, the rule is you can't work in IT with people like me. So.
I mean,
oh my goodness.
technically she was a computer, so it's like
Exactly.
So Steven.
I'm
Hi,
Batman.
I'm Jen. Sorry, I was late. I was eating dinner.
That's okay.
All right.
I'm Batman.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh wait, are those the Bat people?
Yeah,
Don't fit in the Batmobile.
yeah, Batman, Joker, and Vicky Vale.
Of course, Joker's there.
Poor Vicky Vale gets knocked out and felt up all the time by Batman in that movie.
And Joker.
Yeah,
The
that's
whole
true.
Dance scene where she's like dancing with Joker because and he's holding on to her. He copped a couple feels in that. That's all I'm saying. But it was
when you're
Jack
a
Nicholson.
psychopath piece of shit. I mean, yeah.
And then there's the Joker.
And then there's the Joker.
You expect it from him.
So do you feel that the discipline that you have learned as a martial artist has helped you, like with your comic book, like have you translated that into your art more, or is it like you just now it's just kind of like I love hitting people in the face with my face?
No,
I mean, the reason that we get into martial arts is to love hitting people in the face.
that's all it is, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to punch people in the face without getting in trouble for it.
Yep. Exactly.
Become president. I mean, yes, martial arts.
It's also why I play football.
what was it like? Is it somewhere? I don't remember which state it is, but there's a thing called mutual combat. Is it Portland or is it Oregon or Washington? Where because remember Phoenix Jones? Is he still around?
Phoenix
The-
Jones.
yeah,
Man,
he was
I
the-
haven't heard that name in a while.
Right, yeah. So like in one of the I don't know where was he in Seattle or was he in Portland? But he did this thing where like someone challenged him in a fight. A police came up and said, to Phoenix, it was like, are you gonna do you want to do this? And he said, yeah. And so like Phoenix Jones and this guy just got into a fight on the street. And so apparently like it was like a thing. But I don't know if it still exists. That's really crazy.
I
I
don't
can't
think
imagine.
it does anymore. Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I think the first law is someone has to have the song "Fire" by KMFDM for the Mortal Kombat soundtrack before legally you're able to do it.
Yes, dude. That's
Or
so
it was
awesome.
some sort of Fight Club thing that they weren't supposed to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. The first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
I just imagine that happening and then like police
talk about
always
Fight
having a boombox with the Mortal Kombat theme ready to play.
Well, it's no different than when you declare shenanigans. You have to have your broom. I mean,
Yes.
that's just the
Yeah.
law.
100%. That is the thing you have to do.
Or the shillelagh stick.
If you're Irish, yes.
Again,
So
first
yeah,
Simpsons
Fight Club is
fan.
you don't talk about Fight Clubs. Second rule about Fight Club is you don't
That's
fucking
right.
talk about Fight Club.
And you definitely don't talk about Brad Pitt's hair in that movie.
I mean,
why is it bad?
No, I
Oh,
just,
Brad-
Oh,
Brad-
okay.
I just
absolutely gorgeous
randomly
in that
said
movie.
something about the movie.
He's like, I just want to talk about Brad Pitt.
Now I'll talk about
Um,
Brad Pitt and Troy all you want.
Oh, yeah. So as far as the discipline, I mean, I make sure when I work on something, I'm pretty dedicated to it. I try to, stick to like a game plan. I even write up schedules about, what I do, what I'm going to do.
Right.
But as far as like, actual like martial arts, yeah, I mean, fight scenes, understanding, how like body mechanics and drawing the anatomy and making sure, it's like sound. So all those things do, play into how I make comics.
Oh, that's awesome. I hadn't
Yeah.
even thought about that. And then when you started talking about body, like knowing body movements and stuff, obviously that would be awesome to know
Yeah.
that. I trip over air, so
Yeah.
you could illustrate it. I still wouldn't know how I do it.
Right. Well, it's one of the reasons why I feel like manga is really impressive with their fight sequences. Because I don't know, growing up in like Asia, I don't know if every Asian country has this, but martial arts is PE. It's not like some mystical thing. It's like it's another sport. So it helps when you have these manga creators who have a little bit of that experience and they're able to get the fight scenes right. So
Yeah. I think that's good. Like I was Phil and I have both, I don't know if Graveyard watched this. We watched Shogun and we were
Oh,
saying
yeah.
obviously it's not martial art. Well, some of it is, but
some of it, yeah.
yeah, we were talking about how we felt that it really helped having having Asian and British production people on it so that you could get everything as correct as you could. And
Right.
and I feel like that's great because there are going to be some things that the Asian culture is going to understand better than the non-Asian culture. So
Yeah.
There are things that are just culturally there that you're just not going to understand in general.
Yeah.
also, what the heck? We have to play dodgeball and you guys get to do martial arts. That's not fair.
We also learned square dancing, so
Right.
Again,
Midwest.
not fair.
That's some white people shit right there.
It's called the Midwest, Phil. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I can
that's-
do with the best of them, all right?
Yeah, that's some white people shit. I'm Hispanic. We don't do that shit.
You can see where my love of dancing came from then.
The
That's why they call you Twinkle Toes Graveyard.
Yeah.
I think that has more to do with your rich history of dancing, Dutch lineage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Those clogs.
His clogs.
But we have a guest, y'all. Maybe we should ask him questions.
No. I want to hear about the clogs.
They're wooden shoes, all right, and you have your name engraved on them.
Are you supposed to wear them? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, you can wear
They
them.
look really uncomfortable.
They are,
Okay.
but they're good for kicking people.
Well, Jackie Chan has a movie where he does put on clogs, and he uses it to kick people in the head. It was really impressive.
He also has a movie where he puts on a magical tuxedo.
He also has that too. He definitely had that.
I'm excited. I cannot wait to see him in the new Karate Kid movie.
That would be
I think it's gonna be great.
Well, they've confirmed that they're gonna make him canon. So
yeah, I think
it's gonna be interesting to see kind of like how he ties in,
mm-hmm.
like if anything, with Mr. Miyagi, given that Mr. Miyagi is from Okinawa and he's from Hong Kong. So
yeah, and it's weird because Ralph Macchio, or Jordan Shalansky calls it Macchio, is in it, and I'm like, that's interesting. So
it's like it's him, and it's supposed to be him training, and Jackie Chan's character from the Will Smith's son's Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how that's going to play out.
That's something like they're confirming it's in the same universe, which means that it's just another story within that universe.
Yeah, which means Cobra Kai is part of that universe too. So.
Oh yeah, no, Cobra Kai's confirmed this as part of that universe. That's why they're doing it.
That's so crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, what other Asian movies do you like? How about Journey to the West? Or Journey into? Is it Journey into the West? I never know. I love this movie, and I do not know the title of it.
Is that the one with Stephen Chow?
I don't think he's in that. Let me double check. I just know that it's basically a story about a fable.
Yeah.
But
they've made that they've adapted Monkey King to movies many times.
Yeah,
Journey to the West is the actual story that it's based on too. So
yeah,
I think that's the only one because it's about the Monkey King trying to find the kingdom of heaven.
Is that? Yeah, they made a whole bunch. So
it is. Hold on.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
It wasn't that long ago.
Okay, because they have like so many. There's I think the Stephen Chow one too.
Hold on. Is that it? By Magnet? Yeah, that's it. Okay, it's Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons, I guess is the whole thing that's called. It's 2013.
Oh no, that one I didn't watch. How was it? Was it good?
I adore the movie. It's got comedy, it's got the demons, it's it's really, if you haven't seen it, definitely see it. Okay. If you want to watch it on certain substances, it's also really good.
It is the best on mushrooms.
I thought you meant like a best with a pizza by yourself.
Right. That's it. Just like, substances, whatever. Extra water, But the way that they do all the demons in it are really cool. And the Monkey King at the end. And then Buddha shows up. So, that's always cool.
Okay.
It's really good.
I really would love to see a Chinese American collaboration where they turn the whole Journey to a West like a Lord of the Rings epic fantasy movie.
Yeah, without all the walking. No walking.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So it's a 5-minute movie is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just put Nightcrawler in there. He'll just like transport you
everywhere.
There you go. Yeah. We just put the X-Men in there. Let's
and
add everything else. Yeah.
There you go.
It would be called Journey to the West Side.
Yeah, that's right. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome. I loved, when I was a kid, I loved watching all the Bruce Lee movies and all the Chuck Norris and all that. I loved all that stuff. And I watched Kung Fu, although I did not really like David Carradine in the role for some reason.
Oh, because it wasn't supposed to be David Carradine.
I know it was supposed to be Bruce Lee. Yeah. But yeah, I was just kind of like, meh. I did like him in Kill Bill, though. I thought he was good in that. So.
Because that role fits him a lot better. He's just an angry white dude, just.
We're watching something. There was a reference to someone choked himself. This is terrible. And someone said, "Oh, this reminds me of David Carradine." I go, "Wow, they went."
That was something recent. That was.
It was The Boys. It was in The Boys.
That's what it was. Episode of The Boys.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one when they were in the dungeon?
Yes.
Lee was in. Okay, all right. I'm not going to say anything else because it'll probably get us canceled. But
no, but he does make a David Carradine reference there.
Yeah,
yes.
I was like, wow, they're really just going for it.
And Zendaya.
That's right.
Oh, the Zendaya reference had me crying.
Yeah.
So I was like, because he's supposed to be Spider-Man. Okay, I get it.
Yep. Wow.
Is that why? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Is that why it was Zendaya? Really? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I totally went
Web
right over my head.
Web Weaver, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I just like. I don't know why.
Well, it took me a while to realize that Tech Knight was like a weird Batman, Iron Man hybrid.
Yeah. I think he's just normal Batman.
It's just normal Batman.
That's probably what Batman does on his off times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't put a cowl on and try to control a whole city and not have a sex dungeon.
Like Tech Knight doesn't wear a cowl though. He's just supposed to be just like the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, but like everybody knows who the heroes are in the DC world. Not everybody knows who the heroes are. So
I didn't watch Gen V, but does Tech Knight have the his suit on?
He's like a suit. Like he's not like actually wearing a costume.
That would have been cool just to see him in costume.
I don't think he actually has a costume. I think he always just wore a suit.
He did
in the comics. Yeah.
But I mean, in the show, I don't think. The version.
No, there are pictures because Tech Knight was Huey's favorite superhero. He actually has an action figure where he has a costume on, and it's the costume from the comics, but he just doesn't wear the costume in the show. Okay. And so I think that's it. And I didn't realize I knew that piece of information until we started talking about it. Woohoo!
I didn't realize that he was Batman and
true nerd.
I didn't at least because I only read like the first couple of comics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was when his butler came in. I was like, oh, he's Alfred. Okay.
Yeah.
And the butler. And I loved the butler in that whole thing. I was like,
In the end of that, when he shows up, at the end of that scene, I was like, oh, okay, good. I was hoping, especially when I don't want to kill everything. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to spoil the show because it's like I don't know if
it's just really epic. What he does is epic. Yeah,
we've given people the weirdest clues. People haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
there's a sex dungeon, and then there's a butler in there, and he's like a Batman, and he possibly doesn't or doesn't have a suit, and people are like, "What is this about?" So it's good. They should get us to do the promo for The Boys from now
on. A terrible transition later. So you work for major campaigns for companies like Google, Toyota, Taco Bell, to working on giant campaigns for the UN. I got to ask this? Did it feel just like it was just work, or was it more like surreal and like, holy shit, I'm working for some pretty major companies here?
I think the first one, which was it was the United Nations Foundation, and they're kind of like they work with the United Nations, and that was a big deal because so really what that was my friend Stefan, he's a filmmaker, and he got this opportunity to work on a campaign for them, and so he hired me. And I thought, at the time, it was amazing. I'm still grateful for it. I thought that was really cool. But over time, a lot of the storyboarding opportunities felt more just, like any job. I was grateful for them. I'm glad they existed. But a lot of it was like, it was work for hire. Mm-hmm. And some of those things are interesting because, a lot of those things are interesting because there have been projects where you work on them and then they don't really see the light of day. And you're kind of just like, all right, well, I'll just kind of move on. It's funny because like I would talk to actors and they would tell me about that. They would say stuff like, yeah, I worked on this movie. And I'm like, oh, what's happening? And they're like, I don't know, see what happens. And that's usually how it felt. It was like the Taco Bell stuff was always like internal. So there wasn't, I didn't really get a chance to see what those look like. And I don't know if they ever like actually filmed. One that did, I did like, so there were two projects. One of them actually saw the light of day, and the other one just didn't. So the one that didn't was it was like this crazy American military action film that was based on a real story. It was like this Iraqi interpreter, and he ended up becoming friends with U.S. Rangers, and it was like this really crazy like action film that the setting of it took place right after 9/11, and I thought that was going to be a thing because I remember the first day I got there to LA, they drove the producers and I drove to Blue Cloud Ranch. I think that's what it's called, Blue Sky Ranch, Blue Cloud, and it's in Santa Clarita, and it's basically where they film scenes that take place in Iraq, and it was crazy because you're seeing these buildings and it looks like you're there, and there's even like they took me to some dilapidated looking models and they had like rats like running around. I was like, oh my god, this is like crazy. And this is the same place where they shot like American Sniper and all these other movies. So I thought that was going to be a thing, and I got a chance to see the tanks. I even jumped in one and got to sketch them, but that never flew. And then there was a short cyberpunk movie that I worked on. It's on YouTube on Dust called Rome, Roam, Writer of Another Mortal. It's a cyberpunk movie, and that actually got made. It was a short film by David Young, and I just thought, oh, okay, that's like really cool. But you're not in control of like what the end product is going to be. So it's just do the work, you show up, and then just cross your fingers, hoping that something happens to it.
Okay.
Awesome. But not awesome because you don't have control.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome you got to work for the UN. Not awesome that you didn't have control of what you were doing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But I guess as a creative, that also is probably what kind of like, moves you into the direction of I want to make my own creations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of that frustrating journey is just like, okay, so you want me to work on this thing, and it's like, okay, you're gonna give it your 100%, you're gonna work on it with care, and then all of a sudden it's like it doesn't pan out, and not for reasons, it's just reasons for out of your control. You have no control over it. Whereas like when I work on Joan, I work on comics that other people are working on, it's like it's really cool because at some point in time you get to see the end result. It's printed out, you're holding it, and you're like, oh wow, I contributed to this. So I remember Don Walker's comic. I'm horrible with names. I can't remember his comic, and it felt terrible. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember contributing a pinup to it, and that felt really, really cool. So, Don, my apologies. I don't remember names. God damn it.
And I think I read you did you work on a cover for Worthy Chaos?
No, I didn't.
No? Okay. Something I saw something. I was reading something that you worked on a property for another artist or another writer that has actually been on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I got to go back to your page and double check it.
Maybe I have.
Because I was trolling your Instagram and I was like, oh.
Huh. Do you know who that creator was?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Oh, okay.
But you guys can continue on here while I'm looking for that.
Sorry, I was vibing to the music there for a second.
Of course.
So I'm a huge comic book nerd, like huge, like 15,000 comics I own. Huge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like Has it always been a dream for you? Like being comics? Like, were you like in the back of your mind where you're like, I really want to create comics, even though you were doing everything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I'm sure a lot of artists have the story where just like you're just drawing, like in high school or like in elementary school, you're just a kid and you're just drawing, and then you get in trouble for drawing because you have creative ADHD. Um, and as a kid, I grew up in that era where it was like some people have the era of like the I don't know, like the John Byrne, or they have like they have like the oh my god, I'm like forgetting names so bad today. But
George
they have that
Perez?
they have the 70s and 80s, like upbringing of comic books. Whereas like for me, it was like a lot of the Jim Lee, the Image Comics, like those guys. So it was like I remember in that era, like it was like 10 or something, and friends were buying comics and we were like looking at Spawn, going like, "Oh, this is like really cool," and then trying to do our own thing. So,
Mhm.
over time, yeah, it just like became. That's really what I wanted to do when I was in high school. I was just enamored by the fact that people were making comics. I was like, "Oh, there's grown adults that are doing this." So that's really what I always wanted to do. But Asian parents, right? I
You're
can only do.
right.
So. Like,
It's like,
They're like,
no.
no comics for you.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I should make a shirt like that. No comics for you.
No comics for you.
Yeah.
Like no soup for you, but comic style.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I've missed you explaining things, Phil.
All right. Phil
You
Mansplains.
didn't hear me at all.
No, I did. That's why I'm like, Phil Mansplains. Great. Thank you. This makes me feel so much better.
If I didn't give you crap, you wouldn't know I love you. So that's.
Yeah.
So how long was Joan swimming around in your head?
Gosh, since 2017. So I was it started off because I was trying to do something in my life. And I remember I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a movie and let me like write this script. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna be like this master um, uh, technician where like I'm gonna make a history movie, like a short little history movie. I'm gonna make the costumes accurate, the fight scenes will be accurate. I'm gonna do this because Ridley Scott can do this, so I can do it.
Nice.
And then what happened was I wrote it and I was like, I don't know anything about medieval culture. I know nothing about knights or anything. So I was like, okay, look, they're gonna have a duel, they're gonna have a standoff, and one knight is going to pull out his sword and he's gonna charge towards this other knight, and then the other knight is going to ... And I was like, and I literally just typed in an M16, and that knight rips apart this other knight with this gun. And the bullets are going to go, the gun is going to go off for about a minute and a half, and it's just going to be this pure pulpy grindhouse fun with his body's like splattering apart. And then I went, and that night is Joan of Arc, and then that was it. That was like the idea. Because I was I don't know, I was frustrated, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to make this as outlandish as possible. So Volume 1 came out over the course of like from 2017 to 2021. And it was on Comixology, but I took it off Comixology because I wanted to kind of like sell it myself. And if you read Volume 1 from Volume 2, they're totally different, because eventually I got an editor, Robert Romeo, who is amazing. And he helped me to like kind of explore the themes I wanted to talk about. And so Volume 1 is like a sampler of what Joan's World is. It's like this crazy, pulpy Hong Kong meets, Western cinema. And Volume 2 still has that, but it's a little more like focused this time. It's kind of going into the stuff that I really want to talk about. So
That's awesome.
thanks.
So
I lost it. I can't find the thing that I saw. I was like, oh, he did this. They were on the show.
So going from that, and then you got the 2 volumes out. like, what's the reception been like? How have cons been for you since you like got all this out, and what kind of reactions are you getting?
So they have all been good. So that isn't funny. I don't know why I laughed at that. So that's fine. What is funny is that man, and I felt bad for this lady, but okay, so when I did the first print run of Joan, which is the one I'm holding right now, this right now is called the Cult Edition. Okay, so I'm going to explain. This is at a time, explicit content, where I was completely unhinged. I was coming at it, as Nicolas Cage puts it, I was being punk rock. Okay.
Hey,
so
unhinged is the way to go. So we're okay with that.
Okay, great.
Punk rock, man. Punk rock.
Punk rock. Whoa. And so yeah. And so I thought, okay, like, let me just like channel some of the stuff that I watch. And I was like, okay, it's going to be Pulp Fiction. It's going to have Pulp Fictionisms. And in fact, I'm not a big fan of Tarantino, but I love his like the rhythm of his scripts. So Joan talks in a very Tarantino cadence. There's rhythm in her dialogue. Okay, so there's also stuff. There's one page that's risque. And let's just say, she can summon any kind of weapon, modern military weapon, into her hands. Okay. Well, at the end, she pays this guy revenge, this villain, by summoning a toy. Let's just say. Okay.
Oh God.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh Muppet. My.
Yes, a Muppet. Yeah. Let's call it Kermit. He summons a Kermit, right? Okay. And she has a witty catchphrase, which is basically like, get ready. It's time for, the pegging party is about to commence, right?
Oh.
So,
I love it.
Right. Okay. So, some people were like, whoa, too much, and they pull back. Other people were like, that's cool. It's Joan of Arc. That's what she would do. So,
yeah, that's totally what Joan of Arc would do.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
She's
That's
totally
what they do in like
power top.
1430 AD. Yeah. So, and she's the top. So anyway, so what ended up happening was that it just through conversation with friends, it was about like, okay, like the message you're trying to send across is like really, really deep, and you have this page. Do you feel like it's going to, detract from what you're trying to say? And I'm like, yeah, it is ultimately, because what happened is at Emerald City, poor thing. I told her exactly. I said, this book is Joan of Arc if she'd existed in the world of Pulp Fiction. And she goes, oh, that's great. Okay.
Oh,
and she's she's obviously in her 20s and 30s. So I sold her the book. Okay. She comes back about 15 minutes later, crying. Yeah, crying.
I shouldn't laugh, but
I know.
I call
Thank you.
that a mibagwa.
A mibagwa? What's that?
Yeah. So, my husband is half Asian. His mom used to say ibagwa, and it's like, it just means like it's your own fault. And I say mibagwa because we just say that around each other. And so I was like, oh, sorry, that was a mibagwa. That was a mibagwa for her. She should have known better.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So she's crying and she's like, I ordinarily don't read explicit content. So I don't want the money back. You can just give it to somebody else. And I went, okay, that's fine. But it's like, it was at that point I was like, I think that's what it was. I wanted to just shock people. Like volume 1 is like insane. It's gunfights. She's saying crazy. She's saying outlandish stuff. It's like, hey, Jones, make her sound like this really weird sexual deviant, but she's not. It's just there's these witty quips that she has. It's just like she's in the middle of a fight scene and it's taking too long. I mean, she's super powered, but they're huge knights. They're just tossing her around, and she goes. She says, "You know what they say? When it takes too long to finish the job, you got to break out the toys and just
what's funny is because I want eventually in what we have written, I was gonna get into like influences and things like that, and that opening scene in the book feels very John Woo,
right?
Yeah, it is 100% feels like a John Woo movie. Just sitting scene.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, look, like I grew up in a time where cape superheroes were not the predominant genre in films. We grew up in a time where one guy, Tarantino, made this film where all of a sudden it was like gangsters and there's a lot of conversations going back and forth. And then you got another guy, John Woo, who's, releasing all these like epic, like, like action gangster movies. And it's like, okay, like when you don't have any, like, you're automatically drawn to action and you go, oh, that's amazing. Right. So I grew up in like that time frame. So that's what Joan was trying to encapsulate. It was just it's like a little time capsule. If Joan was made in 1994, I always see this. If it was made in 1994, it would have been directed by John Woo and written by Tarantino, and Joan of Arc would have been played by Winona Ryder. I could see that in my head.
I can see that. Especially with the way that she's drawn in this.
Yeah,
100% can see Winona Ryder.
Yeah, that was the inspiration, So going back to a point, so this crowdfunding campaign that I'm doing, this is like the more like the rated R version as opposed to NC-17. So that toy version, that page got taken out.
Shit.
So yeah, I was just like, it's the track. Like, I don't. If you read volume 1 on its own, you're like, oh, this is like crazy, but this is like fun, and you get the references. People from The Office, the show The Office, have there's Easter eggs for that in the book too. So it's just I was just having fun, But by volume 2, it's just like, no, we're gonna get to the main point. So let me try to change volume 1 so it's all cohesive.
That's awesome. I love that it's Joan of Arc and she basically just goes like shitballs crazy. Like, honestly, I love that.
Yeah,
so.
it's Joan of Arc, but I'm still gonna put a massive dildo in your butt. So
like
right.
you do.
Yeah, right. That happened in 1430 AD. I remember that. That was written down.
It was wooden.
Know.
No,
we
no,
don't
but
know what happened.
But
Right.
Back then, no, it happened. But back then, it was wooden.
Yeah.
So he got splinters in his butthole. Is basically what.
Or leather. It could have been leather.
Going back, one person did complain. So the second complaint I got, and these are the only 2 complaints that ever existed. So the second complaint was, it's impossible for this Joan of Arc to exist because guns didn't exist back then.
Oh, come on. It's fantasy. Calm down, guys.
Right. To which I replied, but I know because I went back in time. So
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, you open the book with that, is that this is 100% a true story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was this person wearing like an Incredible Hulk costume while saying it? Like, this is not possible in comic books.
This can't happen in a comic. You're making stuff up. What is this, imagination? This is not allowed.
This is not something that will really happen in real life.
It's kind of like I love listening to when Neil Tyson Degrassi.
Oh yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, yes, John Leon something. Anyway, but when he, I love hearing him talk about science and stuff. But one of my biggest frustrations with him is that when a science fiction movie comes out, he's always, well, that wouldn't work, and I'm like, no, you're right. A freaking time traveling father looking for his daughter and getting stuck inside a black hole. Yeah, you're right. That wouldn't work. That absolutely wouldn't work.
Is that your Inception, right? No, not Inception.
Interstellar?
Interstellar.
Yeah.
Wait, it's the
I thought
other
he was
eye
talking.
one. The
I
other
thought he was
eye.
talking about Contact.
It's all the movies now.
Starting to learn our weird sense of humor, and it's working. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys are great.
we appreciate that.
Thanks. We're really just as crazy as Joan. That's really
Oh,
what it
that's
is.
awesome. Yeah. Well,
So fun
that's
fact.
the world I vibe in. So this is great.
Fun fact for all of those out there, Joan really did happen. We're the descendants of the craziness that happened in the 14th century.
I mean, this is a crazy story. Just the basic Joan story was kind of a
Yeah.
what? This girl from a village decided
Yeah.
that she just needed to save the prince in France. Okay, so it's like, all right. So yes, she could.
Someone asked me, like, okay, so then, like, if this story is like loosely based on Joan of Arc, then why make it Joan of Arc? And I was like, the real biggest connection to that history was, I'm always fascinated with cult of personalities. I think they're like really interesting, for good or bad. But it was around that time that I wrote Joan. I remember Trump had his like debate, and that was mind blowing. His first debate ever, and then I remember Conor McGregor was coming up in the UFC, and what I noticed was that these were two very, very loud personalities. They're like flamboyant, and people naturally, I mean, whatever your politics are, I'm just saying that was my observation, was that I noticed that people were very attracted to these types of personalities.
Yeah.
And when I was researching Joan, what I noticed was that she had no military training. She had nothing. It was just, she knew nothing about politics. And she claimed that she had visions from God, and she literally goes up to the prince and says, God is telling me to free France. And all of a sudden, a military campaign was built around this, and she joined this army and was successful in laying siege to this English castle, and then reinstated the prince back to his throne. I'm like, what? This is crazy.
She was from
it was original Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I only like my rulers to be given swords by women in Watcher to install the patriarchy.
That's true. We don't have enough women like
handing out
swords from the water.
We didn't choose him. He was not democratically elected.
No, I threw the sword to the other guy. Give it to him.
You silly Englishman. If you haven't noticed, every reference I've done for like the last 5 minutes is Monty Python. So I mean,
that's great.
It's because you're focused on Time Bandits.
100%.
That's fine. We talked.
Did you not like Time Bandits?
No, they're doing a show.
Oh, they are?
We reported on it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
It's
Taika Waititi.
And Jermaine, I want to say Chalamet, but it's not Chalamet.
Clement. No, it's Clement.
Yeah.
There's vampires from What We Do in the Shadows.
Is Terry Gilliam affiliated with that production or no?
I don't know. I would assume they would have to get his sign off from it because he owns the property.
I know that Terry Gilliam said that I think he's an executive producer on it.
Okay. I thought he was so anti-Hollywood for a while. I guess he just said, all right, I'll do this.
Well, I mean, it comes down to he's getting older. He probably needs a little more for his nest egg because Monty Python money's probably no longer.
And Good Omens takes 10 years between seasons.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think part of it also comes down to, I think that between Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi, those are dudes who can carry on his legacy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And they're not really Hollywood, so.
Yeah, right.
That's very true.
They do a lot more indie than they do mainstream. It's just when they do mainstream, they just knock stuff out of the park. So
yeah.
Would you ever like have collaborators on anything you do? Like speaking of Terry Gilliam and this whole Taika and Jermaine thing.
Yeah. I totally would. I mean, the second volume, I worked with Robert Romeo, who had experience in film. Actually, I worked on his first comic, Requiem for a Psychopath, and that was a fun little like horror murder mystery little story. And I totally welcome it. I'm just a big what do you call that? Like a fan of relationships. So I love like energy with people.
Cool.
So like, I don't know, people come at me and they're like, I have this thing. And I'm like, well, hang on. Let's go eat first. And let's talk about it.
Let's get a beer. Let's go eat. Let's
go eat. Let's like nerd out about stuff.
We
and
gotta
like,
vibe a little.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
where are we meeting for this beer?
We're meeting up in Reno.
Yeah, let's go to Reno. Come
Uh,
out here. It's a
we're
big beer culture.
we're meeting up at in Reno on Saturday night. That's this Saturday.
I'm on the film set next 3 weekends.
Well, shit. We'll find a representative for you.
There you go.
Okay.
You know what we should do? We should have Graveyard make a full size like cutout of him, and then we can just like put it like at all the cons that we go to. Just be like,
Oh my
hey, take a picture with Graveyard.
We'll do that. We'll cut my head in half, make me Canadian, and you can do, hey guy. At cons.
Hey, buddy. How's it going, guy? I came here for the craft dinner.
Seriously.
Well, no, because you anyone that knows me, I knows I love all things horror related, and I have definitely stuff I want to work on. And you talk about collaborations, and you've done some horror work. You know, what that like for you working on something horror than versus like Joan for you?
It's different. I feel like, but it feels different, but it feels like I'm home too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I used a lot of ink. Like it was like a lot of ink, you know, and it was just like, oh wow, this is like, you know, it was like interesting, but it's so crazy because it was like I had to draw a slasher, and there were like references given to me, and I don't really, you know, watch a lot of horror movies. I mean, the horror movies I watch are usually like psychological ones, like I know The Shining is like, you know, one example, right? But he was giving me like, you know, slasher like examples, like the slasher in that was like a cross between Jason and something else that he gave me, and it was weird. It was like a fencing mask, but it had like melted onto this guy's face. And then there was a part in the mouth area that got like chomped on, so it looks like a crocodile smile.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like really cool looking. I was like, oh, this is fun. And that is what I noticed with horror. Is like horror and going back to Nick Cage. If you can't tell, I love Nick Cage. In fact, if Joan was a movie, Nick Cage would play God next to Sam. But anyway,
I'd like to play every character.
Yeah, I know.
And the rest would be Muppets. No.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only movie that we need to make. It's Joan, but the only human actors are God and Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Everybody else is a fucking Muppet. That's
right.
That's $1 million movie right there.
Yeah, that's right. You know, speaking of which, Long Legs, I guess, is getting really good critical acclaim. That teaser scared the crap out of me. Holy moly! You know what I'm talking about? That 4-minute teaser.
Mm-hmm.
I had to close my eyes and go, "What is happening? This is like unsettling."
So fun fact: Graveyard has another show that he's on. The one that he does, it's his show. That is called. They only pot out at night, so you can see
close.
They pot out mostly pot out at night. Mostly,
it's almost above my head.
Yeah. Well, I corrected it and I said it right. So, but their whole thing is they essentially review horror movies and
oh, cool. Oh, awesome.
And not just that, they watch bad movies, so you don't have to.
Terrific. That's
and
great.
Then Graveyard also has has an interview show called Conversations in the Void, where he actually interviews horror people. So now that he knows you've done a horror comic, he's probably going to want you to show.
Here's my 30-second pitch or 10-second pitch. Me and my co-host enter the B horror movieverse, and we go from there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I mean that's the thing about horror. Well, to quote Nick Cage, he was talking about horror and sci-fi is great because you can literally almost do whatever you want. And so when you're given like, here's a creature, like you could draw reality, and then when you have like that horror character in there, all of a sudden it changes so much things, and you can actually kind of have fun with the character. Like you can dive into the background of like, okay, where does this slasher come from? Why does he have the mask on his face? It's just so cool. It's really, really fun to do.
Yeah.
I just followed you on Instagram. We'll be in touch. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Cool.
I I don't have an interview show, but when I do, I will have you on. We'll talk about comics.
Awesome.
There you go.
Very cool.
So like we talked about Joan, we've talked about martial arts. Like how is the journey from like where you started, like when you did like your storyboarding and to comics? Like how do you like what's been like the best thing or best experience that you feel like you've had from that like journey where you are now? Or what's like what do you feel like you've learned that you could like bestow?
So the biggest thing is I keep hearing from people that comic books are a storyboard for movies. And it's oh man, like I used to be like, oh yeah, they're right. Nowadays I hear that I'm like, it's just that's it, like it's like boom, and I was just like, I think there's definitely an overlap, but I was recently and I write updates on my campaign a lot. I was just like analyzing stuff and also on my social media, but I was thinking about Blade of the Immortal is the best example of what I think in terms of arguing against that comic books are movie like storyboards, because there's stuff that Hiroaki Samura does in that manga that it's very specific to that medium. So case in point, I remember the earlier runs, there'd be these fight scenes, and then at the end of these fight scenes, the epic kills, a character would, like Manji, he would kill somebody, and then you open up to the next page, and what you get is a double splash page of limbs being severed, but there's these ornamental koi flowers like being decorated around the severed body, and then in the front of it is Manji with his sword in this martial arts pose. And I was like, I don't know, like all the adaptations of Blade of the Immortal, they haven't done that. They don't know how to adapt that, because I don't know if they can do it, because it's so like it's meant for you to look at it and go, ah man, this is art.
Yeah.
And the fight scenes, the panel work is not to just lead you from one thing to another, because that's what storyboards are. Storyboards go like this to this to this to that. But really what Blade of Immortal is to me, it was just the way comics are, is like when you flip the page, you look at each panel and then you process in your brain what's happening, and then you fill in what happens between panel 1 and panel 2.
Right.
So it was like when I originally worked on the comics, my first comic, I don't remember what it was, but I was trying to do that. It's been so long. I lost hair over it.
Good joke, man.
Yeah, right?
What's funny is you lost hair over it, and then for some reason Graveyard started losing his. So
see, that's what comics will do you.
It was empathy shedding.
Yeah, but you make up for the facial hair though. See, that's the cool part.
Graveyard does have the most epic beard in existence.
That is awesome, yeah. But no, seriously, like I think that's the thing. It's just like a lot of people go like, okay, storyboards are comics, but like I've seen over the years, there was an article about this where they talk about how a lot of people work in storyboarding and they come over the comics, and a lot of the beats are more cinematic because of that. There was a time where comics had more of kind of like, okay, here's a splash page and there's dialogue going on, which is fine. I mean, it's great. I love that era of comics too. But then there is now this era where like, if someone's talking, here's like a very close up of the head, and then there's like a moody shot, and then the final like panel is like the point or the punchline of this dialogue, and it's just like, oh, it like moves in a very interesting way, very cinematic. It has its own beats. Basically, that's what it is. Each panel has its own little beat to focus on. So
yeah, no, it makes me also think with those, because I've seen a lot of those where it's also comic strip like too.
Yeah.
Where you have that, or like they'll pop out of the actual panel, and you'll just see that one person's face, but then you see like what's going on in the rest of it. It's really cool. I do love how creative and how visually evolving comics can be, because you can start out with stuff from like, I think I started reading the stuff from the 70s and the 80s, and you see that, and then you see like, how it's evolved, and then you see like some stuff's creeping back in, but because of the evolution of it, they're adding new elements into it, and it's just really cool. It's just
it's really awesome.
thing.
Yeah. Like I think if someone wanted to say, if you wanted to argue for comic books and storyboards being the same, I guess maybe Dave Gibbons and Alan Moore's like Watchmen. It does.
Well, like Zack Snyder basically did the freaking comic book. I mean, it was on. I got it out. I watched it once, and I was like, "Well, I have this." So I got out the Watchmen. I had the big like omnibus of it, and I got it out, and I went page by page and went, "That's from this page. That's from this page."
Yeah.
And if they had kept the giant octopus instead of whatever they did, then it would have been, it would have been it honestly would have been page for page page for page.
So, I agree.
It's the same thing with 300. Like that was kind of like the big thing that, everybody was so hyped up about 300 was because it was cinematically scene for scene exact comic book.
Yeah. And I think that's where Zack Snyder does best. I think Zack Snyder, is a really good director of photography, and I think that's where you get like the most commonality between comics and movies. But comics are so much deeper. To me, they're like a bloomin' onion because they have all those layers, and they're really they're delicious and they're really good.
Yeah, especially fried too.
Yes,
but don't fry your comics.
No, you keep it in that plastic sleeve. Breathe on it.
No. Right.
Turn the page. Wash your hands. Then you turn the page. Then you wash your hands.
No, but I know
I love that you knew that. All right, good.
I noticed that too with when Frank Miller, when Frank Miller's The Man Without Fear, that Daredevil. I just remember like when I was flipping the page. Now, the argument could be like, oh, it reads cinematic. Actually, I felt like it was like a storybook because the first was it the first 2 chapters or something like that? It was like Matt Murdock's life. And then I remember when him and Stick are like training and they're jumping across the rooftop. There's this beautiful spread of them jumping, and you just kind of sit there and just take in that moment. And it's I read a review, I can't remember from where, but it was like each page is like pure poetry. And I was like, I just, if you're gonna adapt that for a movie, I don't know, you would have to do something that conjures up that feeling. But that book is just so special. It's like you find out everything you want to know about Daredevil in that book.
There's some amazing storylines in comics that it's like without the art, it wouldn't be as impactful. Right. Without the story, it wouldn't be as impactful. And so it's hard if to say, oh well, they're just storyboards. They're not. Right. It is its own art form. Yeah. And people need to understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, a lot of Frank Miller's books were very cinematic in the way that they were kind of like written and drawn and everything like that. Because like you could go back and look at any of the 3 books within the Dark Knight series, and they're all kind of like they all feel like movies when you're reading.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very, or like, well, I feel like the Dark Knight stuff to me is more like a apocalyptic television show, almost like a Last of Us. It gave me that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it does actually. That's what it read like. Yeah. It felt like
the first book, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like this gonzo reality show that you were watching with this crazy, like almost libertarian Batman. He enjoys his guns. He's all for the freedom of like speech and all that, and he's just literally batshit crazy.
Nick Offerman.
Batman with a sniper rifle. I mean, come on.
Nick Offerman would have been that Batman. That's awesome. That's a meme. Someone make that a meme.
You know what's funny is like that's what Ben Affleck was shooting for, was to be that Batman.
That's right.
He did. I thought he did a really good job as an older Batman, like that more like, oh man, I gotta put my shoulder back into place, Batman. You know, that kind of instead of the
like he's the more grizzled, like I've been through some shit, Batman.
Yeah.
Man, I'm that Batman right now too.
Yeah.
Grizzled.
Graveyard's like,
Grizzled.
yeah.
I just picture Phil as the pop the collar, emo, brooding, 30 Seconds to Mars listening Batman.
So for some reason, Batman's listening to the Joker.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, and
He
then you're gonna
would.
go bomb the island. I mean, no.
Are you telling me Batman would not listen to the Joker's album? I think he would.
I would listen to Alan Tudyk's Joker do any kind of album.
It's time for me to read this this in this way.
Let's face it, Robert Pattinson's Batman is the type of person that listens to 50 Shades of Grey on CD.
Oh my god. On repeat.
Yeah.
And now we're back to Batman has a sex dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
We're really
Full
selling the
circle,
blade.
everybody.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm about to really pull from an old joke right now, right?
Okay.
That sex dungeon that Batman has,
Uh-huh.
is that where he keeps the kryptonite dildo?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh,
running joke.
But he
was-
doesn't use it on who you think.
So the running joke was way back in the day. We're talking about Superman Unbound, and
God.
it came up being 50 Shades of Grey, but in the DC world, and that Superman would have a kryptonite dildo. Now we have the boys with Tech Knight that essentially made this thought that we had a year ago come to fruition.
So they
Proving
stole
that
it
Eric
from him?
Kripke watches the show.
Like we
So
legit
they-
had this discussion like a year ago. Yeah.
So they stole the idea from you.
Yes, I think so.
Ah,
I want my money, Eric Kripke.
I want my $2.
I no, Frey doesn't want her money. She wants her Sam and Dean.
No, I don't want that. I don't want Sam and Dean. I would like to meet.
So Cam wants his Sam and Dean.
Right. I would like to meet Carl Urban. If they can make that happen.
There you
Yeah.
go.
He seems like a cool dude.
He is a massive nerd.
Yeah.
The dude, like seriously, like the dude. In Dread, they wanted him to take the helmet off.
Yeah.
Reveal. He said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but he's never taken the helmet off in the comics, so why would I do that?"
Yeah. I love that. That's
I was
huge
like-
respect.
Exactly. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you're a nerd, and I love it.
Yeah.
The same thing, like when he played. God, he's played so many characters, man.
Yes.
When he was in Priest, same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well, and then he's been in the MCU. He's been a DC
That's
character. He was in Lord of the Rings. He's been a
Who
huge.
was he in DC?
Dredd. Dredd was. Yeah.
Dredd's technically DC, yeah.
Yeah, Judge Dredd's
okay.
technically DC. It's
Got
UK, but it's still
Yeah,
DC
yeah, got it.
owns him.
Okay.
So,
Oh, shit.
he was in Star Trek.
Yep.
I have a feeling he'll wind up in Star Wars at some point. I don't know. if
How
he's
you know
been
he
in it
wasn't?
yet,
He
but
might have been a stormtrooper with Daniel Craig.
He might have been. That's true. So, but he's just been in a lot. You can tell he's a nerd. But let's get back. Let's move away.
Well, I
from
mean, we're
Carl
talking about
Urban.
comic book movies, stuff like that. So obviously, we have Nick Cage as God, Muppets for everyone else. Who in 2024 is Joan for you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Who is what in 2024?
Okay, so we said 30 years ago, Winona Ryder. Who today would be Joan?
Oh man. Let's see.
Don't say Jenna Ortega.
I was gonna say, if he says Jenna Ortega, I'm gonna call him out on that.
Dude, it's so weird to ask that question because you basically outed me in terms of my age. I actually asked that question myself, and then I went, "Well, you're 41, so that's it. Like you can't go anywhere with that. It's just
okay.
I'm
We're
so,
all the same age. It's fine.
Yeah.
it's just I'm locked into this time. It's just I'm gonna be like my art's gonna be outdated in like 20 years. I'm gonna be that guy at a convention. I'm just gonna be like, do you want to see like my Superman? And it's like, oh, no, I draw the same for the past 20 years. No, but I feel like I don't know. That's a hard question because okay, if there were I guess actresses that could do like martial arts really, really well.
Mhm.
I don't think you could find somebody in the U.S. You would have to like Aubrey Plaza. Wow, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, Aubrey
Ooh.
Plaza can do anything.
How about Ariana Greenblatt?
Yes.
Who?
All right, she played young Ahsoka, and she was in the Barbie movie. She played the daughter in the Barbie movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's right around the age where she could still play like Joan because she would like
Okay.
be in that age range. So
Yeah, I could see that.
I like Aubrey Plaza with Carrie Ann Moss playing an older version.
Oh, I can see that.
Uh,
I can see that.
Aubrey Plaza, as I say on every episode, Aubrey Plaza is my hall pass. So
She can
And
put a
Chris-
heel tooth through his neck any
and
day.
Chris Evans is my third husband.
yeah, so Aubrey Plaza can play anything in my life.
So Aubrey Plaza would be perfect because I think she has the attitude. But I also think that there's a character named Apollo, which is based heavily on Samuel L. Jackson from Die Hard with
I
Vengeance.
saw that picture. He looks just like him, dude.
Yeah. He has all these quotes and quips too that are very much like him. So he's still got to be. It's still got to be played by Samuel L. Jackson. So,
Oh, yeah.
those
Okay,
are
so
the
then
two
we have
main
those
characters.
three, and the rest Muppets.
Yes.
I would love to see Samuel L. Jackson interact with Muppet. So
No,
I'm on
actually,
board.
what I
I
would
just call him MFs all the time.
no, I'm going to take this a step further. I'd want it to be a Samuel L. Jackson Muppet played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. So you're saying we don't have to see the 75-year-old man running around?
There you go.
You can do every action scene with a Muppet of Samuel L. Jackson with Samuel L. Jackson doing the voice. And how funny would it be to see Samuel L. Jackson, motherfucker, did I tell you I could do that?
Now I have in my head every movie that Samuel L. Jackson has made and him as a puppet. So
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I just picture my version of him as Apollo and Joan as a Muppet now. Like I can draw it right now.
Challenge then when we see you this weekend at Silver Age.
Okay.
I want to see this picture of Samuel L. Jackson as a Muppet.
Okay. I'll make that drawing. I'll make that drawing just for you guys.
Oh, I love it.
And then we also got to see the felt fiction.
Felt
Yes.
fiction. That's amazing.
Wow.
Felt fiction. All right, should we start wrapping this up, everybody?
Probably
You know
should.
what? We could talk to you for hours. Trust me.
We could.
We could.
We didn't get through like 90% of our questions, so it's like,
That's what happens when you meet someone who's super talkative and wants to just nerd out with other people. It's just
But
like
that's the thing.
ADHD.
that's what we want. Those we want to nerd as much as possible.
Yeah.
Talk about the nerdy thing that you created, but at the same time, your story is so interesting that it's just like let's just keep going.
Yeah.
I like the long way to say if Mace Windu puppet, it would be Lace Windu.
I like that. That's good.
Lace Windu.
Lace
Oh my
Windu.
God.
That's so good.
Just with one arm.
Oh God.
Casino.
Okay, no. If they bring back Mace Windu, it's got to be a Muppet missing an arm and an eye.
There you go.
Yep.
Then it turns into Nick Fury. I mean,
Yeah,
no,
I was just
okay.
gonna say that. Then it's Nick Fury. You have to have a Muppet name for Nick Fury.
Here's DeLong family
Yes.
says, I'm sick and tired of all these goddamn sock puppets on this goddamn plane. Oh my gosh. We're gonna like singly bring back the Muppets and puppetry.
I mean,
Just us.
oh God, his son tried to do an adult Muppet movie, and it didn't do well.
He did
Samuel
too.
Are you
Jackson's
talking
son?
about the one with Melissa
With
McCarthy?
Melissa McCarthy, yeah.
I loved that movie. What was
Oh,
it called?
yeah.
I actually thought it was good. I did not dislike that
Was
movie.
it the Happy Time Murders?
Happy
Yes, Happy Time Murders.
Oh, okay.
It was hilarious.
I did not dislike that movie, but I mean, it didn't do well. But I mean, the concept of you know, having like hiring an actor to play themselves as a puppet,
Yeah.
right? In that kind of movie, you know, like it's very much for adults, but it's still, you know, like they're still puppets, right? Like I'd love to see Samuel L. Jackson as a fucking Muppet in like a series of Muppet movies.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
That'd be great. That would be the greatest like thing in like pop culture. People are like, where does this idea came from? Exactly. It's
It
brilliant.
came from distance fucking nerding. That's what.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh. Knit Fury.
Yes, we're gonna do this.
Fury.
Knit Fury.
That's good. I like that one. That's awesome.
Okay. So we really are gonna wrap it up now. All right.
All right. So I'm going to ask you one of the hardest questions that you've ever been asked in your life. Are you prepared for this?
No, but go ahead.
So, with no preparation, and I don't mean the H, what is your favorite kind of taco?
Oh, yeah, dude, you asked the right question. Okay. I love carne asada. I love asada tacos,
Uh-huh.
but I love what's the one with the cow's head? Cabeza.
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 Oh yeah.
Cabeza tacos are like my favorite because they taste like bacon. Also, I don't like it when they're double. They use the double tortilla wraps. I love it when single wrap because you can taste the meat and the veggies in it. So yes.
Who double wraps? What the hell?
Oh, some people double wrap to make up for the less meat that's in the taco.
Traditional tacos are going to have 2 small tortillas on them.
Oh, well then there you go.
Yeah, but those are like the open like tacos, like the street tacos.
Yeah.
Like most wraps, you only do one because you get the bigger. Anyway, never mind. We're going way too into the taco thing.
As I say every time we get into this question, in our culture, the litmus test for a good restaurant is al pastor.
El pastor, yeah.
Right.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how we know if a restaurant is good or not. Is we'll order tacos, and if the al pastor is good, then everything at the restaurant is good.
And the like Midwest white person
We
equivalent
go
is
Al Pastor. We don't have any Al Pastor here.
is chicken fried steak.
Yeah, we ain't got none of that around here.
Chicken fried steaks, the white equivalent.
Come on, get me some chicken fried steak down here.
What part of the Midwest are we talking about?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then he's in
Oklahoma,
Indiana, like barely Indiana.
My partner is actually from Indiana. She's from Auburn. So
yeah, I'm 15 miles from Chicago, Indiana. So
got it. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
So that's the Midwest. We're talking about.
Love it.
Love it or leave it. So. Oh man, I've got a graveyard question in here. I left it in, but that's a good one.
How'd they get in there?
I don't know, but that is an old school graveyard question, and I'm keeping that because it's such a good question. What is the worst horror franchise?
The worst horror franchise? That's tough for me to answer because if I answer that, as a person not knowing about the horror genre, I run the risk of offending someone who's a fan of horror genre.
There you go. So let's not ask that. Let's ask what's the worst superhero movie franchise?
Oh, dude. Well, see, okay. So we're all friends here, right? We're not going to get into a controversial debate.
We are not going to be offended.
If you say Howard the Duck, we're ending the stream right now.
Dude, I love Howard the Duck, man. I love Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck is great, dude. When that used to come on, I was just watching. I'm like, oh, dude, this is crazy. That thing with him and Caroline Rhea was a little weird, but whatever. It was the 80s.
No movie is as good as a woman fucking a duck. We're just throwing that out.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, people, there's nothing out there like that.
You're out.
Name a movie where a woman fucks a duck.
That's the actual question we're asking right now.
Yeah.
Name another franchise where a woman fucks a duck.
Yeah. Okay. The worst superhero genre. Jeez, man. I feel like it's gotta be. It's got to be like the Fantastic Fours or something from like the early 2000s. I don't get them. I mean, they were fun to watch, but I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, moving on.
Well, the
There's
best
like-
one came out in 1994.
Oh God, Roger.
Oh, then there was that.
Roger
Yes.
Corman.
Yep.
Yeah, there was that. There was definitely that. Man, well, I actually tried to watch it, and I was like, it hurt my brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that and
As
then
it should. It's
the
fucking Roger
Justice
Corman.
League TV show that they tried
Wow.
to do in the
Oh, yeah.
90s. Oh my
Oh,
god.
I had the production designer of that Roger Corman Fantastic Four on my show. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Wow. That's somebody I wouldn't had mine. Like, like it would have been cool if I could get a job with him, because I feel like everybody learns something from working with him.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
I mean,
yeah, like James Gunn worked for him. He said that he learned
Yeah.
so much from him. So it's like,
Well, I mean, so the guy went from that superhero movie to his next one he did was Blade, and he did the opening scene with the blood rave.
Oh, that's
So-
sick.
God, yeah, that's dope.
yeah,
That's a good place to go from. Like
yeah.
Wow.
that is an amazing scene.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Oh, super cool.
So what's some advice that you might have for anyone trying to get into the industry?
I would say hear people out and what they have to say, and then at some point stop listening to what people have to say and just do your own thing. Figure it out.
And that's 8:30. That's when you stop listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
8:30.
yeah.
Exactly. 8:30.
8:30. You just stop. You don't
Yeah.
listen
And
to anything anymore.
We're not going to tell you if it's AM or PM.
Nope.
That's up to you.
No. Yeah. You figure it out.
You figure it out on your own.
No, we're just not telling you how to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you how this works.
To the point of no guidance at all. You just go on your own, jump off the bridge. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out how
There
to
you
land. You're a cat. Yeah.
And that is not an endorsement of jumping off of bridges, ladies. and
No, don't do it.
No,
I'm a cat
no.
owner. Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
but
cats. Don't throw cats off the bridge.
if you're the real nerd, you know that the way you learn how to fly is you throw yourself to the ground and miss.
You throw yourself at the ground and miss.
There you go.
That's Hitchhiker's Guide. That's how you learn to fly.
I've been trying for years.
Hey, I do have one question for you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flipping the script here. Okay. I didn't think I would be this. I didn't think I would do this, but I have been. Is Hugh Jackman gonna have the mask?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been waiting for so
Yeah.
long to see him in the mask. And I'll tell you why I have a special place. That mask has a special place in my heart. It's because when I arrived here from Taiwan, I was like 7 or 6 years old. The first comic I got was Marvel Comics Presents, and it was him facing Cyber, drawn by Sam Keith. And I love that mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, from now on, that's how I see Wolverine. I didn't see him with the hair or anything. It was the mask.
Mhm.
And it's weird because the live action movies never had that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have it for this one, I'm done. I'm good. I can go somewhere. I can go to heaven.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds, being that he has to do the full mask for Deadpool, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that he's gonna make Hugh wear that mask for a little bit at least.
But that's the thing, is there's going to be at least a scene with it on, and it's mainly because they went so in depth in making a comic book accurate Wolverine costume.
Yeah.
They're not going to like throw it all away by not having him have the mask at some point.
Yeah, that'd be such a waste. Yeah.
It's like the Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot, and they put her in the glasses, and then like the next scene, they got broken. Like it,
Oh.
but she had the glasses on like she was Diana Prince. So it's like
Right.
it may be
Got it.
something like that, but I think they will have that, and they may
Okay.
have more Wolverines like that are just skulls with the mask on too. You
So,
have to
yeah.
think about that too because it would totally
So-
fit in the movie. Anyway,
The real question I have for that movie, if you're on, will Ryan Reynolds Deadpool make a comment for Hugh Jackman being so tall and say, I gotta fix this and get a box to stand on it to be taller than Wolverine.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be fun.
That also fits in Ryan Reynolds' sensibilities.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, I can see that.
To make
That's
that
great.
kind of joke because he is too tall to be Wolverine.
Uh-huh. And if not, we know someone that can do the ADR for it. We'll put it there ourselves.
I totally would do that.
All right.
I mean, I did play Deadpool in a short film. So another hard question for you. Okay, this is going to be a very difficult one. Probably not. You're probably going to have the answer right away, but still, I play it like it's hard. Who would win in a fight? Joan or Jet Li in the one, or Jet Li in another universe in the one?
It's got to be Joan, hands down. I gotta support my girl, because I think the one in Jet Li is he's kung fu powered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what? Joan's like immortal, and she can summon any modern military weapon. I mean, he'll come at her with that Bagua Xingyi stuff that he's doing, and she'll just go, and he's done.
Oh, she's gonna Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, he's gonna be like, and then she just goes, boom, and then she turns around and walks away. So
there you go.
Yep.
and then the Indiana Jones theme plays.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
So what do you have coming up?
Silver Age is happening, and I'm mainly there to still connect with people, and I'll have like art prints and original inked works for sale. So some of the stuff that's on the wall is actually going to be there. I have a Usagi Yojimbo thing going on, and I'm also going to be I'm doing the crowdfunding campaign for Joan right now, so I will be promoting that too as well. So yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Tell everybody where they can find you, man, and kind of like give them the link to the Indiegogo and everything like that. Like, you know, if anybody wants to follow you or find out more about the work that you're doing, you know, where can they find you?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I have to be because of the campaign. Usually I'm just kind of like a post maybe once a week and then I'm a ghost. But the campaign, it's been so I've less than 20 days now. So I've been very, very active on Instagram, just making sure that, you know, people are aware of, you know, the campaign and what I'm doing. So if you go to Instagram, it's S like Sam, Y-U artist, SYU artist. And you can go directly to my website. You can click on the link that's in the bio to get to the crowdfunding. But you can also go to SYDstudiopresents.com. Or you can, you know, click on that thing that's on the screen.
I beat you well to it, Phil. Don't worry.
So I didn't have to say anything. You could have just posted it. That would have been good.
I just followed you on the Insta.
Cool. Follow you guys too.
Oh wait,
Thank
I don't
you.
know if I wonder which one that was on Gotham.
She wants to know which personality is following you.
Hush. I don't have 3 Instagrams.
It's okay. She doesn't have multiple personality disorder. It's just, yeah.
I'm just.
She's
fun
got
at
roommates
parties.
in her head.
Oh God. Well, man, I hope you've had fun with us here tonight. We appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us for the last 2 hours here, man. You know, like it's funny because the interviews are only usually supposed to be like an hour, and we do a bracket, and then we just get like caught up in these interviews, and it's like, nope, we're not doing the bracket tonight. We're having too much fun.
That's the thing, man. When it's just one giant nerd culture, you gotta just live it up, dude. You gotta talk about everything, man. I love it. I love the fact that I can ask you guys about the Wolverine mask. No judgment from anybody.
Oh yeah.
Why would we judge you about the Wolverine mask? That's
no.
Because you have to admit when you're a nerd and you talk to people who are not nerds, it literally sounds like this. Oh, I just wonder if like Wolverine's gonna get the mask on because like literally, and it's like they go, whoa, too much. And you're like, oh, okay, never mind.
I think he should wear the mask.
yeah. Well, Ryan Reynolds has the mask too, but I'm like, I couldn't conjure a thought process as to why Wolverine wouldn't have the mask. It's like, okay,
worst movie ever.
Yeah.
I feel that his costume needs to be on the mustard spectrum and less on the oatmeal spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's getting.
And all this is normal. What you just said there sound like, the sky is blue, But there's somebody else is like, too much, way too much.
I just
Look,
noticed.
I'm a fan of Power Girl having like 1,200 outfits, so I'm like, costume heroes need to have choices.
Exactly. I just noticed that James has been in the chat and he said,
"Oh, I ignored him."
But he said, "Is Darren Chibi going?" Because Darren kind of disappears every now and then. But I know he's the one that hooked us up, right?
Yeah, I think Darren said he might just like attend and walk around. I don't know if he will have a table.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good. Just be nice to see our buddy Darren again. It's been a little while. So.
Go check out my co-production people they're going to be there too.
Oh yeah,
like horror stuff.
Horror Dads.
Yeah,
Horror Dads they're gonna have a table there. So
with a Z.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, I'm excited to actually like meet you guys in person. It's just
hell yeah, man. Well, at least me.
Yeah, now I kind of want to. I want to be there, but I can't.
I've been telling you for like the last 2 months to go, Jen.
I know, but it's Reno in July. And like I'm already warm and I'm sitting in my house with the air conditioning on.
So we just moved here and we discovered the heat that is in Reno. So yeah.
Yeah, I wilt and then I literally pass out. So I can't do that.
Yeah. And I was born on Tropic Island. I can't stand it. So
I'm Nicaraguan, man. I'm I make jokes all the time about how it's hot as shit. I get it. My people are tropical, but no, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm white, so
James says my kryptonite is the sun.
Yeah.
No, Irish car bombs are her kryptonite.
I tried to get her to do a bar fight with me when we were in Idaho, and she's like, "No, I don't want to die."
Yeah, I don't know.
So for those of you who don't know, and again, I'm stretching at this point because we need to end the show, but a bar fight is something I used to do in the Army. You drink an Irish car bomb, immediately followed by a Jaeger bomb.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Jaeger. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
I would do 10 of those with you.
Right. And what happens is whoever drinks it the fastest, whoever drinks it the slowest has to pay. Right. So you usually do it with like a group of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And whoever drinks it the slowest has to pay, just because one-on-one it's not as fun. Right. You know that one of you guys is paying, right? But like if you do you do it with a group of people, and it's more fun because now that asshole has to pay for everything. But I mean, like 3 of those in a row, and then whatever beers you're drinking in between. I mean, do you have to wake up the next morning?
Right. I think that was more my reason, was like, I have to be like awake and actually understand things.
I mean, if your plan is to not be coherent, then
right, yeah.
drink about 4 of those. Before we finish up here, so this is about what I got done on Luke's speeder. It's 2 bags worth, so I knocked out 2 bags here. Let me jump up here real quick. So really, you kind of got like a little bit of the cockpit in there, and then it's just kind of like mostly the frame, right?
Ooh, pretty colors.
It's more colorful than I imagined.
On the inside, for some, I think Lego just uses a lot of like leftover pieces, and they're like, okay, cool, because we're gonna.
We have 10 million yellows.
Exactly.
No one likes the orange. Give them the orange.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we take off, and I know since James is here, he wants me to. I'm sure he wants me to do all the branding, and we got the whole everything that we do. What we normally do. We got merch people. We got merch people. That whole thing right there. So, but where we're going is I need your pluggables, guys. So I'm going to start with Steven here. Actually, let me start with Graveyard just so he sees what I mean by this, right? So, Graveyard, give us your pluggables. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, I am Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod Out Night, Mostly podcast.
I lost the button.
You lost the button. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
I found the button.
Night, mostly.
All right, there you go.
You can find new episodes releasing every Wednesday wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to check it out. And then also on Wednesdays, we have our live show called Conversations the Void, where myself and my off-screen producer, who just hides in chat, Salem, will talk to anyone in the horror world, and we are excited. We're actually doing a special episode this Monday with Susan Lanier, who played Brenda in the original Hills Have Eyes movie from Wes Craven.
Oh my God!
I know, and was the second I can't think of her name, Chrissy from Three's Company.
Oh,
Wait, what?
There's 3 Chrissies.
No, I know.
Suzanne Summers was the last one. They did 3 pilots.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, make sure to check that out. And I'll be on set next 3 weekends in a row for 3 different movies. So all those will be coming out hopefully October-ish. So check that out from Horror Dads Productions, and follow us everywhere at Pod Out at Night, and subscribe, and we'll see you there.
All right. Steven, go ahead and give us all your pluggables, man. Everything you've got going on.
Sure. Follow me on Instagram. I'm a SYU artist. So S as in Sam, SYU artist. And then I am promoting my campaign for Joan Volume 1 and Volume 2. Less than 20 days to go. I am at 87% funded. So help make Joan, hit 100%. So SYU artist, and you can also go to Sid SYD Studio Presents. So Sid Studio Presents, and you can click on the crowdfunding link.
Awesome.
Frey, I know you hate doing this, but all your pluggables.
All right. Let's see if I can do this. I am on Distance Nerding on Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays, like this. And I have my own channel and it's at Frey Girl on YouTube, where we do something called what is it called? Classified. And wow, I'm horrible at this. All right, Classified, where we take your favorite fandoms and put them in D&D classes. We also have just finished our Journals of the Classes sister show, companion show.
There you go.
Where we actually went through each class and did all the subclasses and explained them all. So yeah, check us out there. I also do Kyber Cave Productions. When Graveyard finally has a weekend free, I'm sure we'll start doing the Nerd Out again. And
wait, you guys still do Nerd Out?
Occasionally. And then also we are in the middle of, we just finished season 1 of New Order. Yes. New Order. Brave New World and New World Order and all that. It all just mixes up in my brain. All right, New Order.
Yeah, waiting for episode 1 to come out.
Yeah.
Eventually.
All right, but yeah, that's me. You can follow me on Instagram. Pretty much all of my socials at Frey Girl. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram. I'm on Facebook under my name, Jennifer McManus Stillwell. I'm not on Facebook that much, but you can still follow me if you want. But yeah, you can follow me anywhere. So.
All right.
Except down the street. Please don't follow me down the street.
No, please don't do that. If you do that, I will find you, and I will. That's just leave Frey alone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's not X. It'll never be X. It's always going to be Twitter. Twitch, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Discord, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet and mandals, the beard, and James's glasses sitting on a desk, judging you for everything that you've ever done in your life. Because
things you haven't.
Yeah, I mean, it does have the forbearance to know everything that's in the future as well. If you'd like, and that's at Distance Nerding, all the social media areas. If you'd like us to break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, pet, schoolyard bully, annoying neighbor, or just tell us how much you enjoy us, hate us, or wish the internet would consume us completely and spit us out at the feet of the Monkey King himself, then send us an email at dis.
I still want the other font. You need to make that font happen on this show.
I was actually looking for it just right now, and I was like, shit, I don't think I have a version of it. I'm going to have to re-render it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unprofessional, Phil.
I am offended.
Yeah. Hopefully by next week, I'll have it ready. Everything like that.
Nerding
at AOL.com, and we will read that email on air. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us again. And just because we're all here, come and see Steven over at, she's already busting out Wong. Come and see Steven over at Silver Age Comic Con. Come and hang out with us at Silver Age Comic Con. Come and see Horror Dads at Silver Age Comic Con. Come and see Jen at none of the cons that are coming up. And just come and hang out with us. The Long Family Cosplay. Come and see Tater and his new cosplay.
Powder Toast Man.
Powder Toast Man. Okay, it's enough. I'm done with all this because I'm only moderately entertaining. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this going. Oh, we didn't warn him. We didn't tell him what the dance party was.
Oh yeah, you just like if you have like anything like any toys or anything close to you, you just put them up and they dance.
Yeah, just
even if it's Joan of Arc's toy.
You can do your Joan of Arc comic. Yeah,
that would be interesting. That'd be the huge reveal about myself.
Missed opportunity in the internet consuming us and spitting us out because the internet lives on porn, right? So we just could have easily just like. Spit us out at the base of Joan of Arc's dildo. Okay.
Oh, Marvel meetup. Don't forget about the Marvel
That's
meetup.
right. They are doing a Marvel meetup on both days at noon, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are a cosplayer and you cosplay as a Marvel character, come and hang out at the Marvel meetup. Oh, just reminded me too, because we're doing all these plugs, right? In 9 days, my short film is debuting on the internets on YouTube. Deadpool versus John Wick. Go and see that, where I play Deadpool. And some of these guys have heard some of the ridiculously stupid jokes that I have in that movie that also are very much Ryan Reynolds jokes. So
a little birdie told me that there may be a slap fight in it.
Oh God, we added that in post, and and it is just as funny as you think it is.
Oh yeah, so fun.
I love it. That Sandra's saying, "Run the trailer." We don't have enough time to run the trailer right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, it's going. It's time for the dance party. Where are we starting? Frey's already got it to go.
Distance nerding.
God damn it! Fucking evil baby!
Is that like a vampire cat? That's so
Yes.
cute. I love it.
Dracula cat.
I love it.
Dracula. I'm Batman.